Great. So, hi, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining me on my very first Zoom call to talk about ASEA, which is something that I came across only last year. So, I'm pretty new, this here, Magic in a Bottle. But you have been involved for quite a lot longer. And I would love to know, and for you to tell everybody who's watching this, how you came across it and when.
It's been, it's been almost 9 years. So I lost my health about 10 years ago. I was hit by a drunk driver and sustained an injury to my brain. And Naomi, it pulled me from life. I lost my job because I couldn't focus for more than 10 minutes at a time. I was dealing with just severe pounding in my head. I was sensitive to noise, to light, was just sleeping all the time and very dizzy. And my doctors, we tried a lot. But about a year into that, I was told it was my new normal. They said with my type of injury, my body had done the healing it would do, and to just kind of adjust my life around those symptoms and move on, was what my neurologist said. And I was 24 years old when he said that. And I just thought, like, you're fired. there's no way this can be my life. And we kept searching and we kept looking, and an acupuncturist that had known my mom recommended the ASEA. And she basically called my mom and she said, I've come across something in my practice. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. She said, it's helping each of my clients with different things. Some of them it's restoring their gut health and it's helping with digestive issues. Some it's helping with their hormones and, that balance. Some it's helping with breathing issues, some skin issues. And she's the one that said, I believe it could pass the blood-brain barrier and it could help support Danielle. And my mom is like super intuitive, right? So she's like, this is it. She saw it for what it was. I am a biologist. That's my background, is biology. And when my mom brought it home, so you showed the bottle, I spun the bottle around and it said that the ingredients were water and sodium chloride.
Right.
I don't know if you did this when you first learned about it, but I laughed at my mom. I was like, it's salt water. Like, what are you talking about? And my mom, she couldn't explain it. She said, Danielle, it's not salt and water anymore. It's something called redox molecules. And I said, Mom, like, that's not a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't learn about that in school. So she began using it. I refused. And my mom had bone on bone in her hands. And I don't know if you know anybody with joint stuff, but like her range of motion was super limited. And the discomfort was like through the roof.
Right.
Within 6 weeks of drinking this stuff, she got full range of motion back. Wow. And her discomfort level, was like down. And I was watching, because I was living at home at that point because I was not well. And I was like, Mom, it's got to be a placebo. There's no way that stuff did it. But my dad had also been watching and he said, there's no way you could have thought your way out of that. Like, that was bone on bone.
Right.
And so he started using it. And my dad had a prior knee injury, like from 30 years ago. He played college football, had ended his career, and he's always kind of had residual stuff with his knee. Mm-hmm. He started drinking the ASEA, and 10 days into it, his knee, he wasn't having to wear his brace in his workouts because the discomfort was gone. He was feeling like his stamina was going up. He was having more energy in his workouts. He wasn't sore after his workouts. And that really prompted 10 days. I know. And I'm watching this and I'm like, really, Dad? And he's like, yeah, it's no joke. And so they started to research it more and they came back to me and said, look, like this, like the company's name is ASEA. They also call, the bottle of liquid ASEA, but he said, this company didn't invent redox signaling. He said, redox is a huge field of science. It's a newer field. You didn't learn about it in school. And I was like, what? And he said, yes. He said, I think this is the missing link. And he said, give it 6 months, like just try it and let's see. It can't hurt you. That was the biggest thing. They said, look, no contraindication, because I was on a medication for the migraines. And he said, there's no contraindications, can't hurt you. It might help you. Like, what do you have to lose here? Kind of this, you got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Like, why wouldn't you try? Yep. And I started on it and I took about 8 ounces a day. I wasn't like my parents. I didn't have like a fast response. I didn't notice anything until around the 3rd month. And that's when I could focus again. All of a sudden I could get the words out I wanted to. I had energy again. And the biggest thing was that pounding, like, which had been relentless. I mean, it had been 2 years straight of just something going on in my head.
Crazy.
It stopped. And it's never come back.
That's incredible. And
Yeah.
so have you been through a period of time where you are not taking ASEA and you've had some symptoms come back, or?
That's a good question. So I actually traveled to the Philippines for like 6 months. And at that time, we weren't in the Philippines. You couldn't get ASEA in the Philippines. They weren't open there. They are now. So I went several months without it, and no, my symptoms didn't come back. These molecules, they signal the body to repair damage.
Right.
Okay. So I had so much damage. It was like the call for help was very weak. And as we get older, we also make less of our signaling molecules. So the call for help gets weaker as we get older. What this does is it restores the signal. So for an older person, it allows you to be able to communicate like you did when you were young. Or for someone like me that had so much damage, it just allowed for the call for help to be, loud and continuous so the body could come and repair. And, it helps the system to repair. So you think about, like, if you cut yourself, and you use this, right, repair is going to be signaled. So probably that repair is going to happen faster. If you stop using it, the cut doesn't come back, just like for me. So if I stop using it, the brain stuff doesn't come back because it signaled my body to repair it.
Right. So from my understanding, it's pretty much like your cells are being replaced and rejuvenated and regenerated at the rate of like it was when you were, say, a teenager. And as we get older, we don't have as many. So basically by drinking the liquid, the more of it, then the more cells. And so it's going in through to your body, finding where the damaged cells are, or even the dead cells, repairing them, or perhaps flushing them out, and then replacing them with new ones. So it's very important when you first start drinking it to drink a lot more water because you're flushing out the toxins. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. And this upregulates your glutathione. So one of the things, so redox, let's talk about this for a minute. Redox just stands for reductants and oxidants. And reductants have a negative charge. Oxidants are positive. And if you get down to it, it's just all electron transfer. Okay. Yeah. You have a lot of signaling in the body. It happens on the cellular level. It's just electron transfer. That's how things are going on. One of the things that gets signaled on is your glutathione. It gets upregulated. Glutathione, Naomi, is like amazing. It's your master antioxidant when it comes to detoxifying the body and when it comes to dealing with inflammation in the body. So it's a powerful thing. This upregulates your glutathione by 800%. So one of the things that people can feel is the body detoxing. Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly like you said, people drink more water when they start so that, they don't feel the symptoms of detox as much. But I always get excited when people detox. I mean, it's kind of like a weird response for me to have, but I'm like, wow, like your body is responding so fast and you're kicking out things that shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
And that's, imagine if that stuff had stayed in your body, right? Like, yeah, it's not fun for it to come out, but now it's no longer going to, be in your system and potentially make you sick.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's amazing. The description, because there's a lot of people that you've just given an amazing explanation of how it works. And there's always people that will need to know a little bit more. So I have here, the redox signaling process triggers the antioxidants that neutralize the free radicals and maintain a balance of oxidative molecules in the body. So that's another more science-based explanation of it. But and there's the gel as well. So we have the liquid here that you drink. Now, I wanted to ask a question as well, because it only works when you have it in a plastic or glass. If you put it in, say, a stainless steel container, it deactivates the molecules. Mm-hmm. So are you able to just explain that? Because it's very important, because I don't want anybody to be drinking it in something that's going to make it not work.
Yeah, or to drink out of the bottle, like, because your saliva gets in there and then it's... So these molecules, reductants and oxidants, they're fleeting molecules. They're almost like sparks. Okay. So you think about like 4th of July here in the US, people have their sparklers. Can you imagine if I said, hey, go over there and just capture one of those sparks and bring it here to light the next sparkler? Like, you wouldn't. The spark is fleeting. It's there and it's gone. It's there and it's gone. That's the same thing. Like, these reductants and oxidants in the body, they're very fleeting. They do their job in like nanoseconds. They're gone. So scientists for a very long time have been trying to stabilize these molecules and couldn't. They figured it out. And when they figured it out, it took decades. They thought it was impossible to do this. They have it. So they're stable in this bottle. But as soon as it touches anything organic, the molecules start working. And so if you pour it into metal, it's going to start reacting with the metal. So then by the time you're drinking it, it's turning back into saline. And when we drink it, we actually hold it in our mouth for like 15 to 30 seconds, because when you're swishing it in your mouth, it gets absorbed sublingually. It's getting very quickly into the system and going to work. Yeah. So you don't want to drink out of this because your saliva could get in, it starts to kind of denature it, right? It starts to activate it. Glass, plastic is safe. This is safe for animals. So if you're going to give it to your animal, a lot of animals have metal dishes. Like, don't put it in the metal dish, put it in glass or plastic. Don't put it in their food, because again, it will react with the food. So you can't put this in your morning smoothie, right? Yeah. This is a little bit different. Like, this isn't nutrition. This isn't a CBD. This isn't essential oil. This isn't like the lotions and potions and shakes we're used to. Like, this is something completely different. Yeah. And treat it a little bit differently. And there's a level of understanding that comes with it.
Yep. So for me, I started using it. I'm going to say it was probably about 9 months ago. I first came across it, and from Julia Treat, who's a friend of mine, and I was listening to her podcast, and I'm thinking, this sounds too good to be true. How is this possible that I heard so many people's stories, testimonials, videos, written and video, and so I really sat on it for a few weeks and gathered my thoughts. And then I was like, right, I have a number of ailments that what's it going to hurt? I'm going to give it a try. And after hearing that it isn't a medicine, it's not, it's used by Olympic athletes to enhance their performance naturally. People are using it alongside their own medications. And it doesn't interfere with anything. So what have I got to lose? So my ailments were, I had a neck injury where I've got a couple of slipped discs, or L2, L3, whatever it is, but the doctors have said they're not going to come back together. You're basically going to have to live like this. And I was getting cortisone shots. I had all kinds of treatment, acupuncture, chiropractic, physio, nothing. And I couldn't really move my neck further than this. It just felt like a stabbing, like knitting needles was in my neck every time I got to like this point. So, and I had a shoulder injury too, where I had a torn rotator cuff. And the same thing applied. I wasn't able to lay on my side in bed any longer. I couldn't lift my arm up past here. If I put lotion on my back, I couldn't put my arm behind my back. And this one could be operated on. And I thought, gosh, I don't really want to go down that road, but it's getting worse and worse. So, and then I also had a foot injury where I had a broken bone spur in my foot about 7 or so years ago. And that was done by a surgery. And I just was never quite the same. I'd get out of bed and hobble at least in the morning to start my day. I felt like I was 100 years old. And again, I was like, do I need another operation on my foot? This is crazy. Anyway, so these were my 3 main ailments. So when I started taking ASEA, I was just taking literally only a shot in the morning and a shot in the evening with one of these cups that it comes with. And on an empty stomach too, make sure that your stomach is empty, and don't eat for at least 15 minutes is what I was told. And then so the first few weeks, I didn't really notice anything, but then come the couple of months mark, as you did, I just noticed that I wasn't getting any pain anymore. And when the pain is gone from your areas of your body, after some time you tend to forget that you even had it there. So I'm like,
yes.
this here, I have full movement, no pain whatsoever, no aches, no anything. Same goes for my shoulder. I'm able to put lotion, put my arms up here and do whatever. And my foot, I can jump around. I can do jumping jacks, star jumps first thing in the morning if I should choose to do that. So it's, for me, the changes have been incredible, and I can't stop talking about it. I feel like everybody in the world should know about this and have the opportunity to decide whether it's something they want to take or not for themselves. And like we've said already, it certainly can't hurt. I think it's amazing. And then I will say, with the gel that also comes in a gel form, which is topical for the skin, which you obviously know far more than me about. But from my experience in just using the gel, first of all, just little fine lines that are on my skin are no longer there from using the gel on my skin. I just put it on once a day. And then I have a lot of other friends that have been using it, and they've said some of their scars have been removed, are no longer there. I will say that recently I was diagnosed with, I had a aggressive malignant melanoma on my arm. and had been there. It had appeared about 5 years ago, and I went to a number of dermatologists here in LA who all said it was nothing to worry about, and attempted to remove it, but it kept growing back. So I went to Australia last year, and I thought I'm going to check with my dermatologist there, a skin cancer specialist, and she called me. I was back in LA within days. She said, Naomi, this is very serious. This can spread in as little as 2 weeks around your entire body. It's the most dangerous form that there is. It's malignant, fast spreading melanoma. Get to the doctor over there immediately and have another surgery removal. So I can't say for sure whether it's from helped by taking this, but given that I had so many other improvements in other areas of my health from taking this, I do wonder whether that helped to stop any spread. Obviously, I can't say that for sure, but it does make me wonder. So I had another one just removed from my side, although this wasn't a melanoma as such. It just had the cells in this next one. And I had the stitches put in there just a few weeks ago, actually. And so I got home, and on day 2, I started putting the ASEA gel, the Renew 28 on it. And by day 5, the stitches were completely healed and ready to come out. And the doctor had told me that it was going to be a couple of weeks, 14 days. So when I went back in there on day 5, she's like, Naomi, this is insane. How is it possible that you've healed within 5 days? So for me, it was just insane. So I never want to run out of any of this. It's just helped me so much. And your story is incredible. I mean, that you were told by people in the know that this was going to be it for you. You were never going to get better. Nothing was going to change. You basically had to live with it. Just get used to living in the way that you were. And then you found this. So, I mean, yep.
Well, I was just going to say, there's so many people, like, the more I've gotten out there and shared my story, there's so many people that tell me the same thing. Like, my doctor told me this is permanent. My doctor said that's just part of aging. My doctor said this and that. And, you know, my grandfather was a Westernly trained doctor. Like, they're trained on certain things. They're very good with being able to do surgery, address, emergencies, to be able to find a pharmaceutical that can address that specific symptom. But the way that their philosophy is, it's like they work at the symptom. And it's like, look, what's the cause of that symptom? We work, there's cause and effect. The effect is the symptom. And what we have with the ASEA, it goes down, and we're not looking at, oh, I need to help with a migraine, or, oh, I need to help, repair a rotator cuff. Like, this is non-specific, which is why it sounds too good to be true. But when you start to understand like how it works, so it's going in and it's getting to the root of the issue. It's going in and it's saying, okay, where in the body is there damage? Where in the body are things turned off that should be turned on? Where in the body do we need to increase the call for help? Do we need to address the inflammation? Whatever it is, this goes in and does that. And so for you, right, it was the neck, it was the shoulder. For me, it was the brain. Right. And it's phenomenal. As each person takes it, it goes where it needs in that body. And the cool thing about the gel that I'll just comment on is the gel is more concentrated. And so when you look at it, they call it Renew 28 because in 28 days, it will restore your skin cells, right? So you're going to get younger, fresher skin. Yeah. And it's amazing. But what's really neat is, find 10 people that are hurting somewhere and just ask them, look, rate your discomfort or your range of motion, right? Like you were before, like you couldn't move the shoulder, you couldn't do the neck. And if you put this on 3 applications in a 5-minute period, do this with 10 people and just watch what 9 of them say. Like, yeah. I'm so confident with what this does for people that I'll be in rooms filled with people and I'll bring people to the front and I'm like, look, tell everybody what's going on. Where's your discomfort? Where's your range of motion? We do this, and no joke, 9 out of 10 have something very positive to say at the end of it. Yeah. It's incredible. So exciting that you can tell the repair where to go, right? I look at this as like first aid in a tube. I'm like, let me go tell my body what's needed and where. Yeah. And then this just has like the beautiful insight to go in your system where you need it. It's miraculous what we have our hands on.
Miraculous that's the word. There's nothing else to describe it other than miraculous. I have never seen nor heard anything about it in my life. I can't believe not more people don't know about it, but hopefully they're going to. And I just recommend that everybody, if you have cells in your body, which we all do, and you have anything that needs some help, then I just try it. Just try this product. Like we said, it can't hurt, and just see what it can do for you. And it's also been known to balance your mood, make you feel more relaxed about things. There's so many things. I've been told also it helps with your mitochondria. There's been people with all kinds, like I'm going to put some links up at the end of this video for ways that anybody who's interested, you can reach out to me in any way that there is available. But also I want you guys to look at, there's a video with testimonials from people who have different categories of ailments. So it might be neurological, it might be arthritis, it might be, there's a bunch of categories. So you can just go in and click on the one that's relevant to you or that you want to find more information about, and watch some of these video testimonials. It's insane. It blew my mind when I was watching them, how it's changed people, turned around from them having, so in some cases, not remembering who their family members were, not being able to drive a car, to some months down the road after taking this, they have their driver's license back and they're able to remember their family's names and relive their life all again. It's just giving people a brand new start, which they thought was never going to happen. And again, I want to remind everybody that this is also used by Olympic athletes. There is no drugs in it. It is all natural. It's what your own body has inside already. So no matter what medication you are, feel free, of course, talk to your doctor about it, and just make sure, and then and so you feel at ease. And then
I'll just say this about talking to a doctor. A lot of the doctors went to school like I did when this wasn't taught. They don't know what redox signaling molecules, like that they're stable and that we can restore our supply. So we do have several members of ASEA's medical professional board. It's a volunteer position. It rotates through, different professionals are in there, but we're very blessed, Naomi, in that we work with two of them. And throughout the week, they do several Q&A calls. So guys, if you're interested, if you want to speak to a professional that knows more about this, you can attend. They do a full-on overview, and then they answer questions after live right then and there. And, you know, we can get that information for you.
Yeah,
guys, I would just say, do your due diligence. Like, this is like the tip of the iceberg, what you're getting right here. This is profound, and it will take some time maybe to wrap your mind around it. But at the end of the day, it's safe. You can't be allergic to it. It's completely non-toxic. It's going to go into your system and help you where you need it. And so, like my dad and my mom said to me, like, you've got nothing to lose here, and you got everything to gain. And, you know, if you're struggling with something, reach out. Like, I'm so grateful to you, Naomi, for kind of, like, when something works, you want to share it. You have to, you almost feel like responsible to let people know, like, this exists.
Exactly.
You know, you're not going to hear about it on a commercial or on the news. Like, it's just, it's not where you're going to hear about it, through someone sharing like this. And, you know, if anyone has questions, I'm always here to answer.
Danielle's amazing. So you're amazing. I'm so glad to speak with you now. Thank you for your time and coming here and talking about it with me, and sharing your stories as well. I thank you. I'm so grateful to you, and I look forward to doing this again and with further updates.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Danielle.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bye.